Alright, you guys, welcome back to another video. And today we are taking a look at the Drake Ironclad. It is Drake Defense Con, and that is at the end of Invictus, where Drake comes together and they show off all of their ships that you might be interested in using, because apparently Drake is not invited to the main show because a lot of pilots like to use their products. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at what the Ironclad has to offer and kind of compare it to some other ships at around its price point with similar functionality. So let's get right into this. Run the skies with Drake's juggernaut, a free enterprise, the mighty Ironclad, an armored freighter that takes the risks involved in deep space traversal and transport seriously. It stands as a beacon for intrepid independent pioneers across the galaxy. Very exciting stuff. And we have some pretty exciting images as well. We can see a photo here of the top doors fully open, giving you a excellent view of how this system actually works. So you can see here there are tractor beams mounted on this rail system. So you can essentially move these tractor beams out of the way and you have a pretty decent sized opening. I would say maybe this is around a small hangar size opening. Uh, I mean, some people might use this ship as a pocket carrier, but we'll get into that. Now you can also see uh, the cargo boxes, the 32 SU cargo boxes. They're looking pretty small inside that cargo area. Pictures of the outside with all those engines and the command pod detaching. Now this is very similar to the Caterpillar, where the pilot seat is in a command pod that is designed to be detachable. So I'm assuming that modularity will allow CIG to do these things more often in the future. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We have turret, the cargo ramp at the front, the tractor beams, cargo access. This whole top door here opens up. And we have the command module, this part on the side here. So this is one of the things that's very interesting about this ship, is that the location where you actually pilot the ship from, it is not this viewing deck here in the middle. You're actually flying the ship from this command part on the side. And I don't actually like that. I have seen some people suggest that maybe CIG should make this ship have two pilot locations, kind of like on the 890 jump, where there is a secondary bridge, an emergency bridge, so to say. So I think you should be able to pilot the ship from this viewing deck here. This viewing deck here is designed primarily for the tractor beam operators, but in my personal opinion, uh, yeah, just make one of the seats multi-role so you can pilot it from this location. It'll be a better place for you to be able to see, to have better visibility. Having it off to the side, I don't know what that's going to look like, but then we have the main thrusters at the back there. Okay, so here we're looking at, we have some paint options. Okay, this is the factory standard version with the black and the red, or the silver and the red. And then we have the Dauntless color. This is kind of like the chrome deal. Okay, and then we have the Assault. Now the Assault, we have a picture of it with the tank, and it has these downward firing turrets here. We have turret, fortified ramp, okay, armored vehicle deployment, again the command module, and the main thrusters. Okay, so this ship has this yellow paint, and you can also equip the Dauntless. And then in terms of price, the Ironclad plus the Dauntless paint with real world money is coming in at $400. The Ironclad um, Assault with the Dauntless paint is coming in at 465. So it's $65 more for the military variant, and with this you're getting extra turrets, and you're also getting a fabrication area. So actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and we're gonna look at the brochure. We can actually take a peek at the interior here. Okay, right off the back we can see for the Assault we have 1152 SU of cargo. And if we go back up to the standard version, we have 1536. So the standard um the standard Ironclad has more SCU cargo capacity than the Assault variant, because this area at the back here is being taken up by a fabrication. You can see here there is a fifth tank at the back that is being repaired. So this interior turret here, control room, cockpit. But yeah, there's a room at the back here. I'll kind of zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it better. Okay, yeah, there's room at the back here that has the fabrication area, and then of course you could fit the tanks in. It has the jump seats at the front. Let's take a look at the specs really quick. Okay, this is the standard variant. So the standard variant has a crew complement of 6. It has a total length of 120 meters, width of 52, height of 20. Cargo capacity is that 1536. That's a lot of cargo. Almost 3 times the Caterpillar. Quantum drive 1 size 3. Fuel tank 2 size 3. Shield generators 4 size 3s. So how CIG has essentially explained it is that 4 sizes of a component equals the next size up. So these 4 size shields are essentially closely equivalent to a capital size shield. Radar 1 size 3. 1 pilot seat, 1 co-pilot, 2 remote turret, 2 man turret. And then you have the thrusters here. You have the weapons that are equipped on the turret. Then you have missiles. So the pilot does not have control of any guns, but it has control of missiles. Then you have 3 size 2 tractor beams. Okay. Then we're going to go down to the Assault and look at these specs. Okay. Very similar, same crew, 6, same size essentially, less cargo, 1152. Okay. Same size components, but you have a little bit different seating arrangement. You have 1 pilot, 1 co-pilot, 4 remote turret, 2 manned, and 34 jump seats. That's a lot of jump seats. You could put a lot of players in here. Okay. Then you have a lot of good guns. You have 1 size 5 manned quad, 2 size 3 remote quad, 2 size 3 remote, 1 size 3 manned, and 1 size 2 interior remote. Then here comes the kind of interesting part. We have component fabrication. Okay. Then we have rearm and refuel garage, main garage hold jump seats, and upper walk area jump seats. So there are a few things that the Assault comes with. So even though you're losing a little bit of cargo capacity, I mean 1152 SUs is still more than enough for a lot of people, for orgs to get together and do everything. And then the command module actually has some of its own specs here. Command module, 1 size 1 quantum drive. It is hilarious that the command module has a quantum drive, but if you get in a bind, you can jump to a planet. Quantum fuel tank, shield generator. You have 1 size 1 shield. So this is basically a cutter. So you basically have a cutter attached to your Ironclad. So 1 pilot seat, 1 co-pilot seat, comms, navigation, 6 jump seats, So apparently there are some seats on the lower level, because if you look at the command module in um, the Caterpillar, the lower part of the command module in the Caterpillar has a bed, like a sleeping area. So I'm assuming that this does not have that sleeping area. This has jump seats down there. So you get 6 jump seats. Again, 2 main thrusters, 2 nav, pilot controlled. Okay, 1 size 2 remote turret. So you do have guns apparently on this command module. Yes, you see, this is hilarious. Right up here at the top, this looks like a little turret. So you do have guns on this command module. That is hilarious. Okay. Very interesting stuff there. The way CIG kind of put it is that you don't want to just detach this thing willy-nilly. This is something that you're probably going to use in a case of emergencies. But it's very interesting. You got a turret, you got a quantum drive, you have jump seats. So, I mean, hey, sell me this ship by itself. That sounds like a good time. Okay, so now we know the price, we know the specifications. Kind of, let's talk about what this thing compares to. At $400, I know a lot of people are going to make sharp comparisons to the C2, to the M2. Okay, you might even compare it to ships like the Galaxy, that is kind of around that price. Galaxy, I think, is coming in around 360, 380 or something like that. Of course, you know, those different ships have their benefits and their drawbacks when you're comparing them to each other. Now, for the C2 and M2, I would say their main benefits are going to be the pilot controlled guns. Of course, you have 2 size 5s on the C2. The C2 is really designed for 1 or 2 players. Ideally, I do know engineering's coming out, and a lot of people are worried because the engineering from the A2 is also going to be on the C2. But realistically, the way that ship is laid out, you could realistically have a co-pilot manage some of that stuff. Whereas on a ship like this, CIG is stating that you'll need 6 players. I think you would realistically be able to get away with maybe 3, a pilot, and then 2 turret operators, whether that's to operate the cargo remote turrets for the tractor beams, or the, you know, remote turret for gun defense. Realistically, if you were going out with a crew of 6 players, I think it would make more sense to have you know, a few of those players act as escorts rather than to actually be on the ship with you. So realistically, I think 3 to 6 seems fine. Of course, there are 6 roles dedicated for this ship, but I think you could get away with 3. I think this would be a bit difficult to solo, specifically because the command module, where you pilot the ship, and that tractor beam deck, they're separated. I do think that CIG should make this this viewing deck, you know, a secondary bridge where you can you know, operate different things from. If they did that, I think the ship would be far more soloable. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. I know players probably would solo this. Most people, I think, looking into this ship, I think there would be like a small org, medium-sized org, large org. This really does feel more like an org ship because of its cargo capacity. 1500 SU is a lot of cargo to manually load yourself. And you have to remember, after Invictus, we are getting the cargo update. And this is definitely not coming out after Invictus. I don't know when this is coming out, but because at the end of the day, this is a concept ship, and CIG has a lot of other ships in the pipeline that they might want to release before this. Now, you know, Drake ships, I don't know how difficult or hard it would be to make this, but realistically, CIG has said that it takes them about a year to make these larger ships. So I would not expect this thing by the end of the year, or even next year for that matter. So the last thing I would say is, when you're looking at comparing this ship, because it's in concept, you also have to look at the loaner ships that will be available for it. So this ship has a caterpillar as a loaner ship. So that means if you have a C2, you you don't want to melt your C2, essentially. You can melt something else and get store credit to be able to upgrade to this, and then just don't apply the upgrade. That way you still have access to your C2 and you lock in the savings, because this ship will obviously go up in price before it gets added to the game. All concept ships work like that. So realistically, it will be a little bit more expensive when it does get added to the game. So I recommend just buying a CCU to this, and definitely not buying it with real money. $400 is a lot of money. Um, and yeah, hold on to your C2, because right now that ship is far more useful in game, especially for what a lot of people will be using this for. Now, a lot of people are saying, is the M2 dead now? Because of course this is a ship. It has jump seats. It has all of that stuff in it. That is, a lot of people would use for the M2, and I think maybe yes and no. The M2, in my opinion, has always been a bit problematic because it really doesn't have gameplay right now. If you're bringing uh, what situation could you possibly need to bring 5 tanks in for? There's no gameplay that you would ever need to bring 5 tanks in for. But the hope is that when this ship does get released, that gameplay is a little bit more filled out. And so for that reason, I don't think that comparison can really be made right now. But I would say the major advantage for the C2 and the M2 is that they have a lower crew requirement than this ship. This ship, in my opinion, is really interesting and potentially exciting. I think that design wise, CIG knocked it out of the park. uh I guess the last thing I'm gonna say about this ship is the paint scheme. It kind of rubs me the wrong way that they put the yellow paint on the military variant and the red paint on the cargo variant. uh it just doesn't make sense to have a bright yellow ship for military operations. Your enemy will see you coming from a mile away. This is a very bizarre decision, in my opinion. I think this red paint should be on the military. And I mean, you ever look at those bulldozers, the cat bulldozers, they're yellow. You look at the Drake Vulture, even the Vulture is yellow. I think that CAG should realistically swap these paints, make the military version red and the industrial version yellow. The very bizarre decision, in my opinion. Hopefully they fix that. Hopefully that this is just some kind of mistake. Somebody at the marketing department thought the yellow looked cooler or something, and just put the yellow color on the military variant. So hopefully they fix that. There's no way they can put this in a game like this. This is just too weird, in my opinion. But I think the ship is interesting. I think it's too much cargo for me personally. Me personally, I do not want to move that much cargo. Again, I want to be a space trucker, but I kind of want to just do it for the love of the gameplay. Um, I don't know what effects this will have on the economy, because the way the C2 works right now is that it has a different economic flow as than any other ships in the game right now, simply because it has so much cargo. So I think that I don't know what the gameplay is going to look like for this. Obviously, this won't have the same cargo loading gameplay. It will have a cargo loading gameplay that is more similar to regular ships. So to have that cargo capacity is very interesting. I don't know how the economy team is going to balance it. Uh, so uh, my best wishes to the economy team on this one. I think it's a cool ship. Again, I don't think it's entirely for me because it seems like a little too much cargo. Um, I would realistically like to see CIG release a ship that is kind of like this, but maybe falls more in the range of the 800 SCU mark. I think that's a little bit more exciting for me personally. Um, because I don't know, I think that number is more workable. Of course, with the 32 SU boxes, it's more doable. It's just, I feel like it will definitely take a long time. You will definitely need people to help you load up 1500 SU of cargo, and you'll need people to defend 1500 SU of cargo. So it's definitely not something that I would recommend soloing. But I mean, it's doable if you buy less cargo. Like, you put 500 SU on this thing, you don't have to fill it up. But yeah, I think it's a very cool ship. I would, again, suggest CCUing it. It's a concept ship at the end of the day. And uh what I would really love to see next from Drake is a ship that looks like this, but it is a salvaging ship. The next ship that I really want to see CIG bring out is like a in-between salvage ship between the Reclaimer and the Vulture. And if Drake made that, if Drake made a a salvage ship that maybe has 100 SU of cargo. The Vulture has 14, the Reclaimer has like 300 or something like that. So if Drake released a salvage ship that has like 100 SU of cargo, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I'm telling you, that would be the most exciting ship CIG has ever released for me personally. I really love this aesthetic, but I just don't personally need a cargo ship with this much SU, so I'm not going to buy this one. But if, CIG makes a salvage ship with this design that has roughly 100 SU cargo for like, 200 to 300 bucks, I'm buying that in a heartbeat. You guys, you know how much I love salvage. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me here in today's video. You guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this ship? Are you excited about it? Are you gonna pick up a CCU to it? Are you a huge fan of Drake's design? Do you think that this is just the best looking ship you've ever seen? I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. So thanks for hanging out with me here today again in this video. Like I always say at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salut.